Okay, what's going on? It's Mex. Welcome back to the channel. So today I'm doing another video on the W220 S500 long wheelbase that I have here. If you're new to the channel, I've had this almost 2 years, say 22 months. There's been two issues from day one. Well, there's quite a few, but they're all being resolved. However, there's two issues that have been that I've had with the car from day one, and I just ignore them because I can live with them. So today I'm going to address those two issues and hopefully get them sorted once and for all. All right, so first issue, super clear, and it's the steering wheel. The steering wheel is absolutely mash up. If you look here, yeah, it's kind of horrible and disgusting and minging. So like I said, I can still drive the car, it's just a bit minging. When I first got it, I gave it a super good clean and I disinfected it and whatever, and I thought, you know what, I'm gonna change it. Like I said, we're almost 2 years in and I still have that. However, I've bought two replacement steering wheels. They're in the boot or in the trunk or whatever. We'll go through in a minute. And the second problem, let me see if it comes up now. So there you go, that's the second problem, SRS issue. So I've read that code, and what it is, it's a very well-known problem with the passenger seat. So the cushion here in the passenger seat, together with the seat belt, it tells the car, the ECU, that obviously there's a passenger there, so for safety that is important. That's been there from day one, and again I just press the reset light and get rid of it when I start driving. However, it's not really ideal. And yet again, ages ago, I bought this, which is a sensor that bypasses. It's a resistor that goes underneath here. It will replace the plug for the seat, and it will think it's the restraint's still working. So it means the airbags and seat belt and all the restraints still work. For both of these things, you need to unplug the battery. For this, obviously, because of the airbag, and for that, I think it's if it takes long enough, it will forget the code. I don't know, I might have to, you know, get the code read. But anyway, for now, let's unplug the battery and let's get cracking. All right, so like I said, in order for you to do that, look, one steering wheel, two steering wheels, we'll get to that. Boot is a mess, excuse that, placement discs. So in order for me to crack on, I need to disconnect the battery. I have put from day one in here an AGM battery, so same size, same power, same everything. It's just AGM, so it's not lead based, it's gel based, more reliable, and hopefully should give me more longevity. Anyway, I'm just going to look like tens. I'm gonna unhook the battery up and then get started. Alright, I'm going to start with the steering wheel because I feel that's a easier job with the sensor, but don't quote me later if I'm struggling. Anyway, so to take this off, there is a bolt hole, screw hole there that I need to get to, and I need to work out what it is. So I'm going to try to work out, I think it's probably got to be a Torx or an Allen key or some sort, one on each side, to get that off. So let me just start with that. Alright, so steering wheel's not going to happen tonight. This replacement steering wheel, I wanted to see how it worked, so I took that and bolted that off on these four bolts. So that comes out. Drop the bolt, and then I got to see these captive bolts. They've got, as I thought, a Torx key. These live here, and they live there trapped between the cage and the back of the steering wheel. And what happens is you need to get to them from the back of the steering wheel, from these holes. These holes are super tight, like extremely tight, you can just about see. So none of my extensions are skinny enough. So what I need to do is see what size Torx it is, and essentially buy one of these but in the Torx, and then that just about fits in. Whereas the moment you try to put an extension to hold your Torx bits, the Torx bits and the extension just get stuck in there. So anyway, for tonight we're not doing that. However, I will do that in this video, but just explaining it to you guys how it works. So let's jump back in there and do the passenger resistor. That's what it looks like from a company called ProScan Automotive. It's not a paid shout out, but if it works, ProScan shoot me some cash. If it doesn't, then like I said, it's a bit of a rattle there, but if I hold the wire, it doesn't rattle, so I don't know. Anyway, apparently it's underneath the passenger seat. This is a UK car, right hand drive, as you guys can see. So passenger seat is that, but I think I've done a boo-boo. I've unplugged the battery and I didn't move the seat all the way forward, and that's my wife's seat, and she's a gangster, so she loves to fucking lean back all the way. And yeah, so let me see if I can get there. If not, I might have to plug the battery back up and move the seat forward. Yeah, so while I can see it, I'm gonna have to bolt it back up and move the seat forward. Alright, so the seat is all the way up and it's super easy to see what the situation is, so I'm gonna show you now. There we go, you see the two yellow plugs. Alright, so it seems the plug on the resistor is wrong, and I don't have a Torx long enough for the steering wheel. So for tonight it's a massive fail, but we started the process, so I'm going to finish it as soon as I get the plug. I've messaged people on eBay who supplied this, so they can send me a correct one. So I guess I'll see you guys in a couple of days or a week or so, but it'll be instant for you now. Yes, so it's got an answer take 2. I managed to get these 50mm T30s together with my extension. Should be long enough for the back of the steering wheel to go in. Got my trusty Milwaukee, so that should then just whiz them off. I say that, but it's probably not going to be that easy, but let's hope. I'm going to unplug the battery, and then I'm going to also get started on the plug and the resistor. So although the plug is wrong, the seller's been a bit long about it, and the resistor's correct, it's just the plug that's wrong. So I'm just going to cut it and splice it into the original plug, because the seat plug is dead anyway, the seat sensor. So fingers crossed. Let's get cracking anyway. Okay, so here we go. We've got to cut this plug here, so I'm just going to take it out and I'm going to cut it. But as you can see, it's red, white and brown, and that's the same as the sensor. Alright, so this is a very, very poor wrap job right there, but I got some bullet plugs, bullet adapter things in the Golf, so if these don't work I'll swap them over or whatever. But literally I've done this just to see if this works, if this makes the difference. So as you see, the sensor plugged into the correct plug now, and you see how wrong the other plug was. So there we go. All right, let's plug it in. Okay, so I'm just gonna plug this in now. Okay, so that's plugged in. I am going to put this up here for now, maybe up there. so it doesn't get crushed. This is the air line that comes out from there to here to pump the seat. So yeah, all good. Fingers crossed that's sorted. So that easy and that quick. And the way I did it was hammering my T30 into a 6mm socket, because the hex size for these is 6.35, so it's too big for, it's too small for the 7, too big for the 6. So I hammered it in, got an adapter on my Milwaukee, and we made it happen. Bit of brute force, but like we said, you saw how easy it is. Also, I had to plug the battery back in quickly to turn the steering wheel, because actually you can't access it with extension and the Milwaukee between here and here where the bolts normally sit. And on the other side, obviously I've got all these air fresheners, but it just sits in between these two here, so that's no bueno. Right, so I spun it around, so that allows you to then be able to take air bag off and just unclip that switch. Yeah, I need to be careful, so you need 2 hands, so hold on. Okay, so managed to unplug these 2 wires. All we needed was some long nose pliers, like so, to pull the black plug from here and to gently pull that plug out. So here goes my light. Should bought my freaking Milwaukee LED, but anyway, that's just a simple sort of plug thing, so that's really easily pulled out, but just gotta be careful not to rip anything. All right, let's not beat around the bush. It's the 3rd evening, but I didn't have a socket, so I've ordered this 1/2-inch socket with a 10mm hex Allen key, which is what you need for that center nut. I tried one of my small ones, but then I need an adapter for an adapter, and these little adapters aren't going to have the strength to take that off with a breaker bar. So I've ordered this, which is solid. I'll take it, and then we'll see my extension. I've done loads of steering wheels and they always have a nut. I've got a full set of sockets, so I was confident, but no, you need a 10mm Allen hex head. So I did it, like I said, on a 1/2, because then I got my 1/2-inch breaker bar, and then I've got an adapter on my Milwaukee here, just not to do any power, but just to bzz, bzz, on and off. So yeah, let's get the breaker bar and break it off. Okay, so that goes in there securely. Now this is gonna be, it's a bit dark in here. Let's put a bit of light. Is that better? Yeah, that's better. So that's in there. Right. Make sure it's all the way in it and it's not catching any of the wires. It's not very deep. Then breaker bar in. Now, probably gonna need to hold the wheel. Yep. I'm gonna do it this way. And there we go, it's broken off. So now that it's broken off, should be enough. Should be enough for that Milwaukee. So that nut is off. You see how that Loctite, looks at 10mm, that's now off. And like with everything, this steering wheel is probably going to need a few bangs to release it, and I can feel it coming already. Then that can be fed through, and there we go, the wheel's off. Okay, so a better look on the wheel. those are those captive what did you say, T30s right there. They have to get to from the back. That's the reason I'm taking it off. This backing plate comes off with these, I think these are T20 something, so they're different to the T30s, and they're different obviously to the hex head that goes in there. So I don't need to remove any of that because my steering wheel that is going in has the same thing. So I'm just going to swap it over now. Okay, so you can see the top and bottom lines on the spline under the plastic, so fit the steering wheel top and bottom and make sure you work so the steering wheel straight and you work all your steps back. And just like that, steering wheel's back on. Reset your warnings and they'll all disappear. Just reset your codes. You don't need a star or anything, you just get like a cheap code reader. As long as it has the code reset function, you can just reset all the codes and it'll clear it. So yeah, wheels on. I know the color's slightly different. This is to match the top and originally this was to match the bottom, but it's aged anyway, way better than the ripped one. I might just go for a full black with a dark wood in time, but anyway, is what it is. Hopefully this was helpful. Sorry I dragged it on, but now you know the tool, which is a 10mm Allen key in the center, T30 long and skinny for the back, and you shouldn't need to remove anything else. But if you do the little plates inside with the black metal plate, they're like a T24 or something like that, smaller, but still a Torx. So yeah, hope this was helpful. Catch you next time.